Hey everyone, welcome to the Yoga in Black podcast. If you're not new, however, welcome back. I'm Tierney, your host, and this show is all about the experiences of Black yoga and wellness professionals. Each episode, I'm joined with a new guest, and we'll just have a conversation between two peers about our experiences within the yoga and wellness industries, and also highlight where you can find their classes. At the forefront, this show is all about letting you know that Black folks are out here in this wellness industry doing amazing things that you can experience. So, with that said, grab your favorite beverage. You know, I got mine in the favorite mug, and let's have a chat. This is your friendly reminder that all episodes of this podcast are pre recorded and some topics or events discussed may be outdated. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the Yoga in Black podcast, everyone. My name is Tierney, and I am your host. Today, I am joined by JeLisa Smallwood, and I'm going to shut up and let her talk. Go on, JeLisa.
Fine. So, hi everyone. My name is JeLisa. I am the owner of, I like to call myself Chief Yoga Officer and Manifester of Highly Yogavated. I started that business in 2019. I've been teaching for, it feels pearl jerking to say 10 years, practicing yoga. So I'm just really excited to be here, really excited to talk about yoga, especially in this environment and in this safe space. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being a part of it.
Absolutely.
Oh, so you said 10 years?
10 years. Because I
Around that.
graduated from college in 2014, and my yoga journey, well, yoga first found me. I can't remember when I took my fitness requirement class, when you're in college.
Yeah.
I like to say 2013, 2014, just to be safe.
I was around the same time.
Yeah, nice. I think we all were just in that period of just, I think this is needed to be introduced to them. We were all just kind of in that same place, same journey, same time, in different places, right? Like,
life was kicking my ass and I needed something.
literally, that's what I tell people. I needed something to separate myself from the things that I was doing every day. I needed some space time that was not allocated to anything or anybody else. And right around that time, well, shortly after that, when I found yoga again, was when Planet Fitness started popping. Like when they started doing the $10 a month, like zero down or penny down, whatever their first marketing boom was. I remember that, and I was just like, okay, this is cool and all. Like, yeah, you get the option to meet with a personal trainer, but they giving me pizza afterwards. Like, what? I needed something more. No shade to Planet Fitness. Their marketing strategy works.
Give people in the door how you want to, but I feel about it.
Look, if anybody from Planet Fitness watches, if y'all want to invite some yoga in, just as a girl, anyway, promote self right quick. So yeah, I was looking for more. I wanted more, and I was living in Hickory, North Carolina at the time when I graduated. Because I am from and currently reside in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So the triangle. And so again, I was living in Hickory at the time, and I found a yoga studio, and it was all she wrote after that. Yeah.
What was that first experience at that studio like?
I remember enjoying it. I also remember not focusing so much on it trying to be perfect. Like, I don't think that was something that I was thinking about. It was just, let me see what this experience is about compared to, something else. And I was like, oh, I like this. I think it was like a restorative class. So it was
Nice.
really, really um so that was, to be honest, I don't remember much of that studio there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm like disassociating with it because of maybe some stressful stuff I was going through at that time when I did find yoga again. So maybe I
Mhm.
just have like pushed that to, the back of my mind. Um, but obviously it stuck. It was something that I remember continuing to do. So I'm an accountant in my full time life. So during that time, I was an auditor. I was traveling like all across the state of North Carolina. So, and probably another reason I don't remember it, I was traveling so much. So I
Yeah.
would find a yoga studio wherever I was. Like if I had to travel to like Kings Mountain or Aberdeen, like the Pinehurst, North Carolina area, like I was all over Eastern North Carolina. So I would find yoga studios wherever I was at because I was like, I need this. I have to have this. So it was like a craving, honestly. I would make sure I packed my yoga stuff anytime I travel anywhere. Um, so yeah, it was nice. It was beautiful. So maybe that's why too I don't remember my like first back to
Yeah.
yoga experience like after college. I think.
And that scans because the time that I spent at the studio that I really started to really get into my practice was something that I have to like work really hard to remember. Like I can't even tell you the name of the studio.
Right.
And I spent so
Yeah.
much time there because it was the
Yeah.
closest one to my apartment at the time, and I enjoyed their teachers, so I that's where I went. Like had a membership and
Yeah.
everything. Can't tell you the name of
Right.
it. Can't tell you the
Right.
name of it, but I was just going through so much at the time that it's just so much of that is just clean
A
slate.
blur. It's right. Literally clean slate. Sometimes I feel bad for that. Like I feel like like I don't know, like I don't know, I feel bad for not remembering certain things, whether it's people, experiences with those people, like it's like, dang, what was I going through to where I don't remember? But I'm kind of like that with a little bit of my childhood too. Like it's
Oh
a
yeah.
big chunk that's just like, I mean, obviously I
Yes.
made it through. Obviously I made it through. Like I don't know. I don't remember school.
Yo.
I don't remember hating it, liking it, nothing. Like I just was going through the motions. I don't know. Like
Yeah. And I mean, I know it's the brain's way of protecting itself, but I was like, sometimes I wish there was like a warning, like, hey, you're about to lose this memory real quick. You want to hang on to it or
right.
not? Like, you
Right. You
know
want
how
to
the
save it or
computer
not?
pops that up? Like, yeah, like when you click to delete something, it's like, are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
can I get
Or my
a
iPhone when
something?
I'm trying to record a reel or something. I'm trying to
Right.
record a reel, live my best life, and no more storage. What? I just paid you $2.99. Just paid you.
Exactly that. So, in the time from when you first started your practice, when did you decide that teaching was where you wanted to go with it?
So fast track. I moved back home to Winston Salem. I'm really diving into my practice. Um, it was two studios here that I started going to. Shout out to the Breathing Room in Winston-Salem. That is now my home studio where I now teach at. So it's like full circle to have began my experience there and to now be teaching there. Like, I just makes my heart
I
warm.
love
So yeah, I we'll get there.
that.
Um, what was my question again?
Transitioning from just
Teaching.
practicing to what motivated you into teaching?
So during this time, I'm like really diving into really just going to classes, just really trying to familiarize myself with yoga. And people kept tagging me in this like anything that was yoga, right? So like I started posting my practice on Instagram, um, and Facebook too, I think. And so whenever people saw yoga stuff, whether it was on YouTube, whether it was somebody that was anything, they tagged me in it. So I was like, you know what? Let me check this out. So I checked out the form of yoga, um, for sake of me not associating with that practice anymore. I'm not going to mention it because, yeah, we'll get into the whole cultural appropriation and that whole topic of yoga, and
Oh
we're gonna keep
no.
we're gonna keep things really just about progress and moving forward today. Um,
Absolutely.
I found that form of yoga. They had a convention, right, in Phoenix, Arizona. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just do it. Click, paid for it. Paid for my ticket to go to the convention. Go to the convention, book my flight, everything for Arizona. They were having, you know how when you do 5Ks and stuff, you have numbers. So they
Yeah.
gave us like numbers like that as we were like coming in, meeting each other. So they had like a meet and greet. It was awesome. And so fast forward to the end of the convention, I win a 200-hour YTT scholarship, meaning my 200-hour yoga teacher training was going to be free.
That is so dope.
So all I did during that workshop was I remember we took some dance classes. They taught us some yoga classes. Um, it was wonderful. I loved it. I had so much fun. I still have videos on my phone that I revisit from that experience. And I was just like, oh, well, clearly this is for me. Like, I was like, this is just clearly aligned. This is what I'm supposed to do. And so I wasn't able to, I believe that was 20, so graduated from college in 2014. That's when I found yoga again, kind of thing. This is in like
Hmm.
2016, 2017, maybe. Um, and so I don't do my yoga teacher training until like 2 years later. In 2019, I did an immersion. They had different options for the teacher trainings where you could have like so many weekends out of so many months where you
Yeah.
like check in. I think it was virtual, I think, or maybe you went on site. I can't remember, but I didn't want to do that. I was like, I want to be there. I want to immerse. Boom, I want to be there. Just yoga all day, every day. Go hard or go home. I loved it. We did yoga all day, every day for like 2 weeks.
Oh, hold
Just,
on. Say that again because your sound cut out for a
oh, my
second.
sound cut out. Oh no, it
Yeah.
was. I probably didn't say anything. Like it was a dramatic pause for that reason. Like it was wonderful. It was the best experience ever. I had so much fun. I met so many people at yoga teacher training that I still a few of them I still talk to, still follow them, on social media, stay connected in that way. We all still support each other. We actually all got like a few of us got a matching tattoo when we completed yoga teacher training. um Julie, she does like woodwork, and so she created this keychain for all of us, and the this was one of the designs she had on the keychain. So a few of us
That
went and got
is
that together. Yeah.
cute. Oh,
So that was my
that's so cute.
transition over
Oh,
to, okay, I want to be a teacher. Now, don't get me wrong, the 200-hour was very disorganized. It taught me a lot of things about what I would want um, to see and have in my next one for sure, and in one that I
yeah.
would ever be a part of. I
Yeah.
just would not want people to leave the experience talking about it the way that we did. Did we make the
Yeah.
absolute best of it because of us being yogis and we're just those type of people? Yes.
Y'all
But
seem to
could
have
it
a really
have?
good connection too.
Yeah, yeah. I would say I'm connected. I talked to at least five of the maybe 12 to 15 of us that it was. And at most, we're
That's
all still
awesome.
connected on social media. So, like, if I was to just, and you know what, maybe after this, that's probably what I'm going to do. Reach out to a few of them and just say, hey, I was just thinking about you. Hope you're doing good.
That's so dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The plight of the 200-hour teacher training, it's it's a topic that definitely needs more discussion because of how variable the quality is.
Yes.
I don't want to necessarily say that some things can be good quality or bad quality, but they can.
Yeah. Some
Especially
kinks.
when,
Yeah.
yeah, like when you're going into this thing expecting to learn more about yoga in itself and how to teach it. And far too often, there are people that come out of their training feeling completely unprepared.
Yes.
And it's
I
sad
kind of
because these
did
things are
too.
expensive.
Cause no lie, if I would have paid for that training, no. Mm-mm, get somebody else to do it. That's how I feel. Uh-uh. I would not have been okay. If I would have paid for the training what other people paid, I would not have been okay with how I left
Yeah.
and the experience that I received. Wouldn't have been okay with it.
Yeah, that vetting process of finding a program that is truly aligned or at least provides the things that you're wanting. Man, that's
Yes,
hard.
it is
That's
hard to
so
find.
hard because there's so many out there.
And I get asked that a lot. Like a lot of people will want to, further their yoga practice and they'll ask me like, well, what, and a lot of them will be, not in my area. And not to say that that would make it even better. Well, that's a lie. I would have one top number one, the breathing room. They host YTTs. They're actually doing one right now. We actually have to attend. Well, not have to, but um, it is encouraged for all of us to attend a trauma informed yoga session. And you know who's teaching that session? Bree Winston
I was gonna say
from
it.
Gen Mind
Yay!
Change. That
I
is
love Bree. Oh,
Bree. Shout out to you.
she
This is
is
for you.
just
This is for you, sis.
uh
So, sis, I love you. So, we just gonna go ahead and dive in. Me and Bree, my was this my first? Honestly, I think Bree was the first Black yoga student and teacher that I met in my hometown when I walked into a yoga studio after I moved back home. So
that is so beautiful.
she was in her YTT when I first met her. And from
That
we were just it was like that moment in Step Brothers, like, did we just become best friends? Yup.
I had that same thing with her too. When I first met her, it was just instant. For
This was
those that
huge.
don't aren't aware, Bree was has an episode on season 1. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out because Bree is amazing. But
Love her.
yeah, it was the same energy because she linked up with me on Instagram, and I was teaching an outdoor class at the time, and that same day she showed up. And I'm like, you look familiar. And she's like, yeah, I just started following you. I'm like, oh,
Yep.
yeah, I saw
Yep.
you. Because I
That's who
followed
we
her
are.
back immediately, too. So I was like, yeah. And we just started riffing off each other, having a whole, like, I forgot that people were coming into the park
Yeah.
space. Like,
You lose
girl, I got to
time.
go talk to these other people.
You lose time. You lose time because it really is a like spotting a unicorn type of a moment because it's not many of us, but
No.
I will say, I'm really proud of the community that I am building here in my hometown. Um, so recently, like it's just been up. It's just been up lately. Again, shout out to Bree. Make sure y'all go watch her episode because my home teaching journey started from Bree connecting me with the operations, kind of the operations manager of the studio, and ever since that moment, like I have been teaching like no tomorrow. I teach 3 classes, normally 3 classes a week here in person. And I just, I was so grateful for her. Like I just knew that I had to mention her and shout her out on this podcast for that. So sis, super grateful
Yes.
for you. Um, and so starting to teach was just, it's a great journey. I like to say that the teacher needs the students just as much as the students need the teacher. Because I've had some
1000%.
hard days that getting to yoga class was what motivated me to get through the rest of the day. So
Been there.
shout out to all the yoga students everywhere that go to classes, in person, virtual. Like your teacher may not say it, but they need you just as much as you need them.
It's so real because since the pandemic started, people's participation with yoga has definitely increased, but it's gotten to a place where it's like kind of inconsistent. And I find myself, now that we're, back in person a little bit more, I get defeated when folks don't show. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what is that? And I think it's because you want the connection.
Yeah, you
I
want
was like,
that.
I really do want to connect with my students because
Yeah.
it's such an awesome experience.
Mhm.
I
And
love
I
it.
think because a lot of us are we're we're so authentic. We're authentic people in general. So that energy transfer with especially our students, and
Hmm.
then of course with yoga being so much a part of who we are now, that same energy exchange with just your average person on the street completely changes from inviting yoga, into your life. Even as a teacher, like it's so different going from student to teacher. Like I will say sometimes it's hard to carve out time to go to classes as a student,
Yeah.
um, because I don't want to be the one teaching. Like, the studio has started having like full moon sound healing classes, like sound vibration classes, and so I
Hmm.
went to they had one Friday, like 2 days ago, and I went to the one before that, and it was great to not be the teacher for a little while. But I will say, being a teacher is very rewarding. In addition to teaching at the studio, again, this all started with Breathe. So like that like picture of exponential growth, like that is what happened. She hooked me up with the breathing room when I got back home, and she was like, "Are you gonna stay here?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Even if you're just gonna be here for a little while, make sure you contact them and start teaching a little bit here." And so I started teaching with the after school program here in town.
Nice.
So I'm connected with two schools right now. I'm hoping they continue to grow. I want to start attending some of their like faculty meetings just to see like what it would take to get the nonprofit in other schools. Like how do we do that?
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm doing that as well as my classes during the week at the studio. And a local basketball team actually reached out to the studio and said, "Hey, how do we set this up to where we have a teacher come to us one day and we bring the boys to the studio one day?" So I've gotten that opportunity as well just from that one connection. It's been up.
It's amazing where it all goes.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. That was a yawn.
You're fine. Now I'm a young. I feel like I'm a young soon too. Okay.
I keep trying not to because I don't know what it is about being on these webcams, but it activates something in my brain that's like, yawn, yawn now, do it
Yeah.
again and
Yeah.
again. Like,
You
hey,
feel like
brain, chill.
you feel like that's the third chakra. Like, what you doing? Like, why is there
Yeah,
another eye looking at me?
yeah, yeah. I can totally, totally see that. I'm gonna pause real quick because I've lost my train of thought.
That's fine. It happens. It happens on
Perfect
the
point
mat
for a little
sometimes too.
break.
It happens on the
Oh
mat
my
sometimes
gosh.
too. When teaching, what do you do?
Hmm.
What do you do in those moments? Like if you're teaching and you like maybe have a block of maybe where you want it to go, or if you even had a plan to begin with.
It's gotten to a point where if I start noticing that I am losing the train, I put them in a posture that they can rest in and breathe in. So that way
Okay.
it's just filler and I can
Mhm.
collect my thoughts for a
Yeah.
second and
Okay.
then proceed. So
Yeah.
if they're standing, put them in a down dog or a tabletop or, whatever posture that they want. But,
Mhm.
getting them there easily enough that it's, like, okay, chill out here for a second. Get your breath together. And I kind of frame it up like
Right.
that. It's
So
like, get
I can
your
get my
breath
life together.
together. But it's for me. It's for me.
What you about to
Truly
do?
for me.
Right. Feel like it makes you feel like a parent in that moment. Like you think I'm doing this for you, but I'm really doing this for me. Okay.
It's for me. I gotta do this for me. Oh my goodness. That is too funny. So where did the name highly yogivated originate from?
So after yoga teacher training, I'm finna just yoga teacher training was in April 2019. 2 months after that, I went to Peru for a yoga retreat for like a week and a half. Beautiful. So I knew after teaching, like I was just like, okay, this is going to go somewhere. Like people have already been asking you, like, when you gonna start teaching yoga classes? I, can I finish my training first? Oh, like I just like y'all wanna me.
The
Look,
calling is coming in loud and clear.
like I hear you. I hear you. I'm listening. So went to Peru. I just knew. So I set up like a meeting. A friend of mine from college actually was had a graphic design business as well as like a fashion design business as well. Shout out to DKZ, slash by DKZ. Um, and I knew I wanted a logo. I told him, hey, I'm gonna become a yoga teacher, and I want to say I had already come up with the name Highly Yogivated. I just did some research. Like I just looked around, um, looked around what the other yoga. I looked at the names of the yoga studios I was going to. I found people who looked like me and people who didn't look like me on Instagram who had, yoga names, and I just continued just writing it down, journaling. Like I want to find a great yoga name that just sticks. And I think I just woke up one day and it was like, what was it? Yep, it was a mic drop. So I told him everything. Here we are, highly elevated logo. But so many
Hey, got
years
your own
later,
apparel.
yes, I am a creature of. Somebody called me a queen of all trades the other day. So I'm gonna run with that now. Um, I went to so backtrack. I went to a college that was work study, so I was busy all the time. I had a job on campus, job off campus, adding classes, and extracurriculars. What time? What sleep? So I always
Been
feel
there.
like I need to fill my time with something. And I knew I wanted to try so many different things under this yoga umbrella before I created Highly Yogivated. So I really just journaled about it, really just started my meditation practice as well. I kind of put that into what I was meditating about, knowing that I wanted to start this big movement. And Highly Yogivated it was born. And again, I paired up with my friend Derek to create my logo. And it's just I love it. I love it so much now. And fun fact, my mom. I was not sold on the bear in my logo at first. Like I was like on the first edit, like I was like I didn't really know how I felt about it, right? But
Yeah.
my mom has a tattoo of a bear on her right here, and so I was just like,
Mhm.
you know what? Maybe that bear is signaling,
That's your mom's
my
influence on it.
my ancestral strength, from my maternal ancestral strength. So shout out to you, mom. I made it.
I love that. That's cool. That's so cool.
Yep.
Um, I was just, as you were talking, my mind was also pinging on some things. And it's just, I really am enamored with the amount of melanin that you had in your original experiences that helped form and shape your experiences in the practice and, gotten you to where you are now. That is not something that is common. And it's like being like hearing your story and knowing that was what happened for you. I'm trying to fight back tears because it's just such a beautiful
It's
experience to
right.
have.
To make it even better, again, just community relations, like in the triad, like shout out to my community. You my community, you my community. I ain't even gotta call you out. Um, I was because people get on social media and say, "Hey, who know a yoga instructor?" I get tagged all the time by multiple people, and so again, this happens all the time. events, whether it's, baby shower, family reunion type deals, the after school program. That's how I found that. Um, Someone had wanted to host a festival where they brought in brown vendors, black and brown vendors, who had businesses, their own businesses. We had like a mimosa bar. There's a girl who sold like natural body products, tea, the tinctures for like yoni steams, all kind of stuff, right? Like you needed it, we probably had a vendor that had it that day. And they wanted a bunch of yoga teachers. Why was all of us black?
Yes.
I
Yes,
just
I am
So
here
when we
for it.
all got paired up together, like in a group chat for the, just preparation for the event, we were all like, "Yo, where have you been? You you live in the next city over. Where have you been?"
Yes. It feels so isolating sometimes.
It's so unreal. Like we were just like, "Where have you been this whole time? You been here? You live here? You teach here too? Where?"
Mm-hmm. When? Like, let me know because I'm
So
trying to
I
support.
can come.
Yes, because that's what this whole thing, I really want to help with this whole thing here is bridging that gap because it happens too often where we seek each other out, but for whatever reason can't find each other
Exactly.
until way later. And I'm like, nah, let's make that happen sooner. Let's make it
Yeah.
happen sooner. Create a space where we can all come together and learn about each other, where we
Right.
are, experience each other, all of those things because it's important. Like it can really impact your experience with the practice because
Hmm.
had I just because I'm from Iowa,
Yes.
a very only black person in the space kind of experience, and when it started to happen here in Dallas too, I'm like I'm not repeating this again because I didn't move from there to this extremely huge metroplex to continue
You
to
know
not
what?
be in community with people that know the
At least
experience that I've lived.
that happened when I
Right.
moved to Memphis. So I did have sprinkled throughout my yoga experience. I did have some very because I listened to some of the earlier podcasts. I had to catch up, and I had some of the same experiences. Like people seeing us on our mat again, just the only black person in the class, and you seeing me on my mat. Like, oh, you're really good at that. Like, what you mean? You didn't expect what's so different about me that I couldn't be good at this too?
Thank you.
And so I would never dish out to them that I was a teacher too yet. Like I would keep that as that, like that's like a trade secret. Like I would just keep that information in my pocket. Like let's see how bold you really gonna be today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I just had this, like I was just like, I don't want to teach. I don't want to teach at studios that would be who I would be teaching. Um,
Yeah.
to be honest, I didn't feel comfortable doing it because of how they would make you want to make you audition essentially for the teaching role. I had a studio tell me, well, you can come attend some of our classes. Why? So you can see that I can actually do some of the poses? Like, is that why? Or so I can patronize your studio? Now, that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem doing that, but don't make that a requirement of me to become or try to become a teacher.
Yeah.
I didn't
I
really
have
like
my issues with auditioning. Like, yes, it's definitely important to see how someone teaches to know that their vibe matches, the energy of the space.
right.
But it's also like I'd rather just maybe make it a trial period because one class could be my best class ever or the worst day of my life. And I don't want, you basing my
That off.
possible employment off of that one fluke or something. Like if you want, like now that we're in this extremely virtual age, a lot of us have online content. Like go watch a bunch of videos and then get a gist of my
Exactly.
energy and my my vibe.
Exactly.
But
Because it's out
auditioning
there.
feels icky.
It
And
does,
like the
like,
only reason I would be all right with taking the classes at the studio is to see if I feel good in
am a
that
good fit.
studio space.
Exactly. And if I don't
Because
feel
if
good in
I
that
don't
space,
like it, we're deading it right now. Mm-mm.
I like to tell my students, if the pose don't fit, the body must have quit. If the pose don't
All
fit,
right,
the body
Johnny.
must have quit.
All right, Johnny.
You gotta get out of there. You gotta get out of there. That's how you remind yourself.
Exactly.
That's how you remind yourself to honor you, not the next person over there, over there, over there. You, the person you see in the mirror.
Yes. Now, tell me a little bit more about this trip to Peru, because I know that you met another one of the fam at that retreat. Yes,
Shout
Courtney.
out to Fam Bam Courtney. That was my roomie. So I'm gonna drop another bomb. Went to Egypt in this year, actually, April 2022. So I'm gonna go
Yeah.
answer your question first. Um, so I can't again, I was following yoga teachers online on Instagram, looking for people who look like me, just very intentional, looking to fill my community with people who have, the same goals as I do. Um,
Yeah.
and I found DJ Townsend on Instagram and Dara, Pint Size Nurse, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was following both of them, and they were hosting a yoga retreat through Adventure Retreat. And I booked it, just booked it. I was like, you know what? We're going to do the same thing all over again. Just think. If there's anything I love in the world, yoga travel. Like, I'm going to do it. Period, point blank. I'm actually going to plan a trip out to see you and you and Bree now, because I have a few yogis
It's
all in
gonna
the
be
same place.
me,
And
you, Bree,
Courtney,
Courtney, all in the same place.
all,
Let's do
all of y'all in the same place. So yeah, only person missing is me now, and I'm gonna just bring all my unicorns that I have from here with
Yes.
me down there, so we can all, you know. So just booked it. I was like, I'm going. Went. It was the best experience of my life. They coordinated everything from airport pickup. The only thing you have to do is get a flight. You have to get a flight out there. Um,
Oh, they speak
they,
into my extremely organized heart.
yes,
Oh.
my OCD. Yes. Oh my gosh. They send you the itinerary. Send you an email, say, hey, go ahead and book your trip. Make sure you get insurance. Um, all the things. Um, help ease your mind at least a month or two before you go about, and even if you have any questions, you can always reach out to them. Um, and so that retreat was amazing. We went to Machu Picchu. Um, you get a passport stamp in Machu Picchu. If nobody knows that, you can get a stamp in your passport when you go there. That was
I always
also
wanted
the
to go there.
first time I rode a train in Peru. Um, that was fun. What else? We met a shaman. A shaman came to the place where we were at, Samadhi Valley. Oh my gosh. And I have to go back. We actually need to I need to spend the block, go get in a group chat with my Peru family. And when are we spending the block? Because they were doing some improvements to the resort area where we were staying at while we were there. So
Mhm.
that included food. Like, we saw our food in the garden one day, and then it was on our plate the next day. So good. It was so fresh. We took salsa classes. It was so much fun with like-minded people. We did yoga somewhere in there as well. um, it was life changing. We also hiked Rainbow Mountain in Peru. The altitude, insane. You take like 3, 4 steps, you out of breath. That's a few
Oh
people
my
who were
God.
not out of breath. They, I have no idea how they have vibranium lungs already, but I was not equipped with those.
Look.
Me and a few other individuals were not equipped with vibranium lungs. Okay, they had these lungs right here off this pan right here. Clearly, they had these. lungs and had superpowers because it took us.
That tickled
That was,
me. That tickled me.
I got there though. I got to the top. Sure did.
Oh my God. That sounds like a really
Wonderful
beautiful
experience.
experience.
I tell, especially all of my yoga teacher friends, I tell them to experience that because you need to experience something of that sort, especially if your yoga teacher training has been like a lot of our experiences have. You need to experience yoga in an environment like that where you feel safe, where especially if you love
Yes.
to travel and you love meeting people like this who want to have this same discussion with you, who want to learn about what you're doing in your own community, right?
Yeah.
We're still connected. We still got a WhatsApp group chat for both of the trips I've gone on. So I love all of them.
That is so cool. And you had mentioned Egypt because I think Courtney went. Yeah, Courtney went on that one too.
Yep, that
Yeah.
one got pushed back. It was actually supposed to be in 2020, because
Yeah.
we all just booked one right after we got back from Peru. We was like, oh, why not?
It's like, yeah, we're doing this again immediately. Let's do this.
Might as well go ahead. What I
Because I
gotta lose?
remember seeing the pictures that she posted, and I'm like, that looks like a beautiful experience. And the next thing I know, I was like, I'm in Egypt. I'm like, girl.
Shout out to my roomie. Yeah.
It looked so dope. And I think I remember seeing you in a few of them pictures too, now that I'm thinking about
Probably.
it. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was probably
The
in the
world
back
is
somewhere.
small.
Yeah.
The world is
Yeah.
so small.
That's
Because
how I found
Courtney
you,
and I
actually.
met through Instagram. Yeah.
That's how I found you, actually, through Courtney. I remember her. I'm like, Joker in black. Like, I remember having, like, just that little kid moment was, like, literally screaming, like, super excited inside of me. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
it's us. It's for us, by us. I was elated. I was like,
100%.
oh,
The
yeah.
FUBU of yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put that in the caption.
Gotta keep it
Love
that
yoga.
way. FUBU of yoga.
Mm-hmm. Highly recommend everybody take a
Yes.
yoga experience trip like that.
Yeah, I haven't been on a yoga retreat yet, but I definitely want to do one soon. I think what was keeping me from it was just the time, like my calendar never lines up with my bank account. My bank account never lines up with the calendar. And
Let's
then
talk about it.
world events happen. And then I'm like, well, you know what? Forget it all.
Yeah,
But it's going to happen. It's going to
it was
happen.
definitely with some intention. I definitely had to quit a job or two, use all my PTO, and I was totally okay with
Man.
that. I have no regrets. You hear me about the credit card debt that came with it after receipt, but I have no regrets. I do
Look,
it all
I
over
just did that
again.
same thing with that my
Do it all over
300 hour.
again.
I'm like, look, I'm getting this 300 hour. Damn it, I don't give a shit. Like, let's
Now
put it
let's
on this
talk.
card real quick,
Nice
make it happen.
segue. Nice segue.
My,
Where can I ask questions here in the podcast?
of course.
Who are you doing your 300-hour with? I want to do another one. I
Yeah.
want to do a 300-hour. I want to do it in another country with a
Yeah.
minority yoga teacher. I have to find some.
The one that I went to might actually be right up your alley. It's with Susanna Barkataki, of the Ignite Wellness. I always forget the name of the Ignite Wellness Institution. Yeah. But she's been on Instagram doing a lot. Like if you're in my stories, I share a lot of her reels. But she's
Okay.
really just trying to bring yoga back to its roots, dispelling a lot of the myths that have, surrounded itself around the practice in the States, and decolonizing and all this stuff. And the staff roster was stacked with just melanin of all shades, all cultures. And I was just
Here for
every
it.
week, I was just like, oh, this is the best experience ever. And it was all virtual, and it didn't feel like it in
Ooh,
the
nice.
weirdest way. Like,
Nice.
especially within my cohort, we all really connected. We all still have our WhatsApp and everything that we talk on. Even though we just finished the program like early December, and we're all just like, we missed each other.
Yeah, y'all been talking to. Yeah, just get in a routine. You have to get in a routine.
Yes.
Doing those things because it feels good to have that set time for that set activity. Because I feel like we're both a little like supreme OCD. Like we like to set aside time for things because that's how you fully dedicate yourself to the moment. Like it's hard.
The planner is right next to me. Okay. Stays open.
Y'all didn't see me grab my pens out when she said who the $300 was.
Look, the pens are right here.
I just
look because one side is for all of these pens, and then the other side is for the
those the Papermate clicky ones. I know those when I see them.
Yep.
Papermate enjoy. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we just became best friends. Yep. But yeah, I'll definitely shoot you her info after this because she offers multiple types of training. She also does a yoga class curator kind of a thing where it's not necessarily a teacher training, but it gives you the space to dive into yoga a little bit more, whether you're a teacher or just a practitioner, just giving you space to understand more of the philosophy of the practice, the history of the practice, because I know an hour class is extremely limiting and always, for the most part, asana focused. So it's hard to get all those nuggets in there. But she's doing a lot with the space, the virtual space, and educating people on embodying yoga. And I can't say enough good things. Like, money well spent.
Nice. And that's a great experience to have too. So I love
and just the focus,
embodying yoga.
Yes, the focus on embodying yoga and making sure that everyone gets to experience so many different people. Like when I tell you that I have never learned from so many people of color in any type of formal education set up in my life. And even still, like, she'll say it to herself, like, this is yoga school, not school. I'm like, but honey, you are educating me in a way that school never could. And you're providing me with something that I never got a chance to experience in those more formal institutes.
Right.
Like, you are providing me with something that's honestly much better than the degree that I got.
Right. Don't downplay yourself like that. Don't do that.
Do not
I do the
do
same
that.
Thing. I said the same thing to someone. Like I was just like, when I went to one of my after school programs, I'll stay after one day to kind of help them get some of the kids together for car ride, getting on the bus and stuff like that. And I was like, ooh, God bless y'all educators. Look, God bless educators everywhere. Any other educators listening, God bless. And they were like, well, you're one too. Like, you teach as well. And I'm like, yes. Why, yes, I am. And sometimes it's crazy that it takes somebody else saying something for you to own something that you already do. Whole nother conversation about self-care. And
look, because I've done that same thing because I technically went to school for elementary education. But I never did it because I didn't go into the program and do my student teaching. But the fact that I'm here now in the position that I'm in, I'm like, you still found your way to teaching. This just wasn't in that same, avenue. And that
it wasn't
the one that would have served you.
It wasn't the traditional route that would have served you as it may have others.
Because let me get to a parent-teacher conference and I got to, jump outside my skin because somebody thinks their little angel isn't a demon.
That's SpongeBob meme when it's about to go down.
But no, it's this suits me so much better, and I had to reconcile that because it's like you're like because I used to get mad that like I'm never going to use this degree. Da, da, da. I spent 5 years of my life and all of this damn money to not use this piece of paper. And I'm like, but you are. You just
Literally
are not doing it in the way that you expected. So
right,
change your mindset.
right. Flip that. Do a little.
Still a teacher.
I like to tell my perspective. We got to do a little whoopty woo. Now we got to do a little whoopty woo sometimes.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Oh my
Little whoopty
gosh.
woo.
So tell me some more about what you have planned for your future in teaching.
So, future in yoga teaching, just continuing to again debunk yoga myths. I think you mentioned that from your that's the experience you're also having in your 300-hour. Telling people
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have to be flexible already to come to yoga. Um, I get questions all the time about well, I'm not flexible, so I can't come. That is, if I post any reel alive, if I put any text on top of a reel that I post on Instagram, it is that. Like, you do not have to be flexible to attend a yoga class. Um, so just continuing to make yoga more accessible to those who want to try it. People who are, always telling me like, I want to try yoga. I want to try yoga. So I've been just growing my Instagram page here lately, and my YouTube channel, really wanting to focus on, well, I do, even my classes here are like beginner and foundation focused. So even I
Yeah.
teach people things that I learned a little bit later on in my yoga practice about like hand placement, just
Mm-hmm.
how to connect poses, um, that it doesn't have to be always be an hour on the yoga mat, 30 minutes. It can be 5, it can be 10. Um, whatever
That
time
part.
you have to set aside, and it can be whatever series of poses you want it to be. Even if you are at a yoga class, if what I'm saying to you doesn't follow suit, it's your practice. Do what suits you and your body. So
Exactly.
again, pushing all of these initiatives through my posts, continuing to teach my after school program that just started the end of 22. So just continuing to just really use my gift, making more time as well for like personal and individual sessions. I have some people who just scheduling wise, like coming to my classes just doesn't work. So seeing how that
Yeah.
can fold into my business as well. Um, I'm also like this year, me and my friends. Shout out to my friends for being my biggest fans. We are they low key have not low key, they high key have pushed me to kind of start like a book club kind of thing. I don't want to call it a book club, like I want to call it something else because I want to focus on self care, and not necessarily just focusing on the woman, or you don't have to be a minority either to attend any of my events. I also want that to be clear in a lot of our initiatives. While our initiative and movement is for more people of color to come to our classes and attend our events, that does not mean that we do not want other people to come.
Exactly.
So so I want that to be clear too. But so starting a book club, we're gonna do a book a month. First book, All About Love by Bell Hooks, is what we're gonna read. Because I feel like all of the books that I'm going to pick for us to read will be stuff that have things that I have read that have also helped me throughout my yoga practice, that I even use some of these books like in my classes when I'm teaching to, end class, like give a nice peaceful kind of ending to class. So just doing that, curating different events just to bring people to yoga, while still staying true to the true purpose of yoga, especially for the mind. I'm currently in a meditation teacher training, that I'm going to finish this year. I really want to bring more breath work, more emotional intelligence into
Yeah.
how I teach my yoga classes and just into my personal life. I keep saying, and also, like I have all these things that I'm rolling under highly
Look.
yogivated. I have activewear too, so I started that at one point when I first started my business because you're on your yoga mat, you want to fit, you want to look good too. So, dabbling in different aspects of the yoga umbrella to just provide to the people who want to get yogivated, whether it's activewear. Look, I'm currently selling body scrubs right now. That's like my self care push,
Yes.
self care initiative. So I'm trying to think of a name for it, for the whole kind of movement, so I can kind of call it something that'll include the book club and like the self care products that I want to start selling as well. So yeah, that's what's coming. I also just signed up for like a kids since I'm teaching after school programs, I'm teaching kids now.
Yeah.
Wanted to just get some experience and some knowledge from another resource of how do you think teaching preteens and teenagers should go. Um, that's kind of what I'm focusing on for highly motivated. Um, just being a better me so that I can be a better educator, better teacher.
The sky's the limit. That is
Woo!
like, oh, that made me really excited. I can't wait to see it all come into the light.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. It's all just kind of come so naturally too. Like, I mean, I didn't have this book club idea before like last week. I mean, did I think about it? Yeah, but was I going to push it through highly yogivated necessarily? No. And that's
Yeah.
the, I like to say, through my yoga practice and life, like fluidity is very important. Like that, like I said, that
Hmm.
woo woo with your perspective. Like sometimes you got to bob and weave. Like you have to, things are getting thrown at you left and right. Life happens, right? And then
Yeah.
you follow that flow of what your natural journey, what you want it to look like. Um, some days, look different than other days. It's part of the day.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, you've got an awesome trajectory ahead of yourself.
Thank you.
Um, I'm really looking forward to seeing it all happen. And I know it will too, because you are all like, we ain't even met, but you just exude purpose and drive.
I
And I
have
can
to.
already tell, like, it's going to happen.
That's from my mom. I feel like that's that like ancestral strength coming from the bear. Um, I attribute it to that very much.
Definitely. They got your back. They got your
Oh,
back big time.
okay. They get you together. You know, those times when you're asking for a message during meditation and you feel like it didn't come one day, someday, and then the next day is just boom. You look.
Smacks you in the face.
That's what I was waiting on.
Or when
Thank
you're
you.
still not listening and you come through other mediums to, go, receive the message, and then they still like, look, gave it to you, gave it to you, gave it to
One
you.
one thing the yoga journey will teach you, you continue to, like practice certain poses, right? Like that muscle memory, that's like one of my favorite kind of pieces, elements of yoga, I would say, of the asana practice. It's like that
Hmm.
muscle memory of it. And then ooh, yeah, the creator will throw the same situation at you over and over until you learn the lesson that
Until
you are
you
supposed
get
to learn. Okay. And it ain't
it.
pretty. It ain't pretty. To be honest, I'm really just now getting into that light of where I'm like, okay, I learned it. I'm good. I'm cool. I'm tired of getting beat up. I'm tired of getting beat up. I'm cool now. I learned it.
Like, let me rest, please. Thank you. I got it. I got it.
Your yoga practice will change. Your yoga practice will change when those things start to happen. Like my practice got
Hmm.
less. I mean, I still love inversions and like the harder yoga poses, mainly because I told myself I couldn't do them in the beginning. Like I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I would never be able to do that.
Now you've proved yourself wrong.
Prove myself wrong. So yeah, your yoga practice will also tell you how changes in your life are affecting you
Yeah.
too. Like whether you need more rest, whether maybe you need to pick up the pace at the accelerator a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
yeah, yoga
I
practice.
100% agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah. So since we are nearing the end of our time together, I made a tradition of asking folks this particular question. It's in two parts. So, first part is, what advice would you give to people that are looking to start their yoga practice? And then also, what advice would you give to those looking to move from student of yoga to teacher of yoga?
For those looking to start a yoga practice, I think one of the most important things, figure out if in person or virtual is where you want to start. That's very
Yes.
important. And then branching off from that, finding someone either online or in your area that, you want to try their classes, um, and commit. Just go. Just go. Just go to your first one. Maybe go with a friend. Take someone with you. If that'll make you feel, more comfortable, or if they want to try yoga too. Um, and then try it. Try it out. See how it goes. And I have a lot of people sometimes that tell me, they feel more comfortable at home. So finding people online, whether they have a YouTube channel or Instagram, to um find a 15-minute flow or something, whether it's the time, whatever it is that may be preventing you from trying yoga, whether it's the time
Yeah.
commitment, that's usually what I get, is the time commitment. Find a class online or something that is maybe 5 or 15 minutes. See how you feel afterwards. See how you sleep that night. Maybe try it for a week. See how you sleep. And
I
then go
like
from
that
there.
advice.
Yeah.
Hold on. Like that, see how you sleep after that? I like that because
See how
that
you
is
feel.
definitely an
See how you
indicator.
sleep. It Your body will tell you. Yoga is a conversation with your body. Um,
Hmm.
so that's my advice for people who want to start yoga, or people who maybe want to get back into yoga, who have, taken a little bit of a break. For someone looking to go from student to teacher, or maybe you're a little hesitant about, well, am I ready? Like, do I know enough yoga poses for it? That's usually the first thing you think. They're going to teach you. They're going to teach you all of the things. I promise you. Um, Whether you know someone who is a yoga teacher, or you have someone that already attend classes with, asking them, who they got their training with, how they went about finding one. Again, deciding if in person or virtual is what you want to do for teacher trainings, because options like that are always out here. And just just riding the wave, riding that fluidity wave of it, and knowing that your teacher training won't be perfect. It won't be perfect. And step into it just like college too, or just like you step into a college class. Like, people approach yoga, because it is an unknown for a lot of people, but you come to a class to learn about it, right? So don't feel like you have to have all this, prerequisite knowledge before you come to yoga teacher training. I had somebody, for just to encourage some people who may hear this. I had someone who was in my yoga teacher training who didn't even know it was a yoga teacher training. She just thought it was
Wait.
like, I promise you, she did not know that it was a teacher training, like that she would leave there with the ability to teach yoga afterwards. I don't think she
Oh
knew that.
my gosh.
I remember her
Oh
saying
my.
that all the time in conversation. So, and again, even if going through a teacher training, if they get to the more advanced yoga poses, and you, you are not there in your practice yet, know that that is okay as well.
Exactly.
Because they will focus on those poses for, a little while, and teach you how to, navigate those, because people will ask you because they see them on Instagram.
Yes.
So you will be prepared to handle putting other people into those poses. Just know you do not have to put yourself in anything that you don't feel comfortable. So just knowing that, those things, for teacher training. And what else? I think I covered everything to give to like
I love
somebody
it.
completely new from a teacher training, because yeah. because of our experiences, a collective of things that I've heard about experiences. Just step into it just like you do college. Like you are there to learn and just be a sponge and soak up that information.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is sound advice. I love it. I love it. So tell us where we can connect with you on social media, in person, other virtual spaces. What are all of the things and where we can find you?
Absolutely. So literally everywhere I am highly yogated. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. If you on Pinterest, I'm on there. Twitter, highly yogated. So HIGHLYYOGIBATED. Again, TikTok, Instagram, all of that. Website is www.highlyyogabated.com. But if you find me on Instagram, you can just use the link in the bio to kind of navigate you to kind of different places. My YouTube channel, that is going to be my baby for 23. I really want to push, more foundational yoga classes on there for my beginners who end up, maybe wanting virtual. That is my initiative this year for my YouTube channel, to get some foundational yoga stuff out there, to debunk those myths, answer those, questions that may be preventing people from, taking that next step to going to a yoga class.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I live in North Carolina. I am a travel yoga teacher. Your girl will travel. So, if you're in another area looking for a yoga teacher and one of my other beautiful friends in your area maybe isn't available, hitting me up on Instagram, or you can even email me, JeLisa, JeLisa at highlyyogabated.com. So all the things highly yogabated. Look me up. I'm on there. Google me.
Awesome. Are there any events that you would like to plug, or content that you have coming soon that you'd like to push out there?
I'm gonna just plug in my beginner foundational stuff that I have coming up. I'm about to focus on like 5 commonly asked questions that I get from whether it's my online community or in-person classes, in-person students. So really just gonna be focusing on answering those like questions that I get from beginners, and my book club. So at some point I will announce this month. Book of the month is All About Love by Bell Hooks. We're going to have a weekly post on Instagram, just checking in, seeing where everybody is with the book to keep everybody accountable, on track. And then just having like an Instagram live at the end of January, probably the last Saturday or Sunday of every month. I'll have an Instagram live where we'll go over the book. I'll try to find like, book club questions and stuff like that, and how the book can relate to yoga as well. So I thank you so much for creating this beautiful space where we can be authentic, be ourselves, and just talk about the things we love. I love it. I love it.
It's one of my favorite ways to talk to people, is to talk about the things that they love, because the way everyone lights up when you talk about, something that you are just passionate about. Oh, it's a beautiful sight to behold. Yeah. So thank you for being a part of it.
I feel like I had a date and I wasn't really nervous about it.
I know. I'm like, you know what? Yep. New best friend. We just going to stay connected and all this other stuff and,
Absolutely.
Everything. Talk about the new pens that we done got. And
I need to go buy some for real.
I told myself no more until at least the ink runs out on a third of them. Then I can go.
I can do that, because actually, you know what I hate? Sometimes they put pen colors that you can't even write with, like yellow. What am I gonna do with that?
This damn one. Like, what am I gonna do with this?
I threw it away.
It's still full. It's still full. I can't. What do you do?
Get black paper? What do you do? Get black paper?
And it wouldn't even show up on black paper.
What? I don't have
Because
time.
it's not even like it's a marker. It's just a ballpoint pen. All right, well, thank you, JeLisa, so much for taking time out of your day to join in on this conversation. Thank you to everyone who has joined in to listen or watch. Every Tuesday, a new episode. So tune in next week and I'll see y'all later. Bye. Hey there, Tierney again. I know you just finished the podcast episode and you're probably wanting to just go about your business or listen to the next one, but I have some exciting news. We're monetizing the podcast now. I know. This is so cool. This is so cool. But anyway, with that said, we are now able to take donations directly from the podcast. So if you're listening on Spotify, head to the show notes and there is a link there that you can click to provide your support. If you are not listening on Spotify, we still got you covered. You can either go to the website or go to our link tree by way of our Instagram bio link. Your money would go towards supporting this platform in all of its ways, keeping the podcast alive, giving us the ability to offer programming in the future. And those programs will look like classes, workshops, and so much more. There's a lot planned for this platform and can't do it without your help. So if you do have it within you to help us out, I would really appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I appreciate everything that you all do for this community here. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Yoga in Black podcast. New episodes air every Tuesday. Next episode, I'll chat with Ray Geis. You can find us on Spotify, Anchor, and iHeartRadio, or check us out on YouTube. Want to connect with us? Head to our website, www.yogainblack.net, on Instagram at yoga.inblack, and on Facebook as Yoga in Black. See you next week.